All right, guys, welcome back to my channel. Whichever job. We're doing a quick live stream for you guys today from the $1 million studio, as CoffeeZilla calls his studio. His is virtual though, but it looks like it's a $10 million studio. Yeah, I got some clips for you guys today, some juicy clips, and I don't know how else to say this except New York City has fallen. I don't recognize New York City anymore. It's, they used to have this expression like it was called New York tough. Like, if you're from New York, you're tough. I don't know what happened. Now I think the tagline should be like New York weak, because people there are weak. I don't know how else to say it. Some people are strong. Some people are New York tough. I'm going to show you guys a video from Scootercaster on Instagram. Her name is Aaliyah, and she is she's a journalist, and she does street journalism. And let's pull up the clip. This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. All right, I'm going to play this clip for you guys. If you guys aren't following her, go follow her. I'm following her from Adam Francisco. Now I'm following her from Be Free My Sheeple. But like, look at this little girl's face right here. You guys see this little girl? What's up, Patterson? How you doing, bro? Hold on, let me get my coffee. Oh boy. So like in New York now, you need to have a vaccine passport to get into most places. So if you want to eat at a restaurant, go to a gym, you need to have a vaccine passport. That's called New York weak. That's not New York tough. And there are people that are staging protests now throughout New York, which I'm proud of those people. And they're doing what's called peaceful noncompliance. So they'll get a group together, people that are maskless, unvaccinated, and then they'll all go into like stores. I think it's great. So this is a new video from New York. Check it out, guys. Here we go.
You are traumatizing a little child. Yeah, no, you don't want this is fucking disgusting. No. Look at the child. I know a captain that works in the fucking Central Park. Look at the child. Look at the child. This is what we're doing. Where are you taking her? Where are they taking her? Like, it's fucking fucked up.
What kind of future do we want for our children? What kind of future do we want for our children? Just because she refused to show her papers of her experimental gene therapy. We are going to talk to the 28 people. I'm going.
Like, isn't that a kidnapping? To separate the mom from the child and then take the child away in a police car that's different than the mother? Like, what the hell is going on in New York? This is crazy. Yeah, Patterson, you said it best. I'm going to put that comment on the screen. This is shameful. I'm going to read the description. 5 arrested, child walked out by police after group protest vaccine mandates at New York City Museum. A group of anti-mandate protesters went into the Museum of Natural History to protest vaccine mandates. In accordance with the New York City vaccine requirement, you must be vaccinated against COVID-19 to enter the museum. 5 anti-mandate protesters were seen arrested, and 1 child walked out by police and placed in an NYPD vehicle. Group was arrested inside front entrance of Museum of Natural History after refusing to provide vaccination cards. See that, guys? Museum of Natural History, not the Museum of Vaccine History. Woman who is said to be the mother of the child was placed under arrest, and the child was taken in a separate NYPD car. The child did not appear to be under arrest. To be honest, that girl was so young. I don't even think handcuffs would have worked on that little kid because she probably could have just taken her hands out. That's how young she was, how small she was. And it's just, I'm like kind of speechless here because this was how many police officers? Let's watch the video again. How many police officers can we count in this video? Let's count. Let's count. All right. We got one guy, two guys, two police officers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So I just counted 7 police officers in this video. And instead of focusing on actual crimes, these police officers are spending their time arresting children. This is absolutely sickening. And I want to show you another video from New York. This one is a couple weeks old, though, so I'm sure most of you have already seen this. Let me try to pull this up real quick. Yeah, this should be it. If they're, I think they might be having an ad here. Yeah, they're gonna have an ad. Hold on.
So you must be using all of these.
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. New York City is done. New York City is absolutely done. Here it is, guys. Let's pull this clip in right now. New York City is done. All right, check this out. Here we go. Here we go, guys. This is the video. You've probably seen this one.
That you can't serve, otherwise, if you're not going to pay for it, you know, you have the card. No, but you don't have it, then you have to leave. And if not, no, you've had a minute. You're not going to stay.
This is an Applebee's, guys. Like, video of a mother and her child being kicked out of a Queens Applebee's by a contingent of NYPD cops has gone viral on social media. Yeah, in this case right here, in this story, they had like 10 officers come in and throw this family out of an Applebee's. Like, and this is not my New York that I grew up in, guys. This is not my New York. But they think about this. You take your kid out to eat at an Applebee's, totally normal experience. And then you get surrounded by 15 police officers, 10 police officers who say you can't be here because you haven't taken this medical treatment. When really, you know, I want to be careful here, but it's a child. And we can all go to the CDC ourselves and look at the data on children. You know what? Let's do that right now. Let's go to the CDC and look at the data for children. CDC COVID data by age. Let's see what we can find there. Let's see if I can find this real quickly because they make this stuff hard to find. They don't make this easy to look at. Okay, something's happening. Something's loading. Oh, wow, this is interesting. Okay, here we go, guys. Check this out. This is from the cdc.gov. Always consult the cdc.gov or who.int for countervailing medical views on COVID. All right, guys. So I want to go straight to the source here so that we can all see the data on cdc.gov. I don't want any leftists or liberals saying that I'm spreading misinformation. All right. This is the cdc.gov. Check this out. This is deaths by age group. Now, as you can see here, 75% of the deaths are 65 and older. And 21% are 45 to 64. So if we add those two numbers up, 95.8% of all COVID deaths are 45 and up. 95%. 95.8. That's almost 96. Okay. 4% are under the age of 45. And that is a wide range. That is a wide range. And let's just say a 40-year-old is at a much different risk than a 5-year-old. Like, we all know the data. It's clear. It's obvious. I do like, though, how under the 45 group, they just put together everybody in that one group. That's crazy. I really want to see if they could break it out into like children. Like we could see the 0 to 19. Let's see if we can find that real quick. Hold on, let's see this. COVID mortality by age. Let's see if this works. Oh, this is okay. Here we go. This is COVID. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. I'm going to try to pull this in, guys. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at right now. But we're going to do this together real quick. Once again, this is cdc.gov. And you guys can see in the address bar right up top here that I'm on cdc.gov's website. And the start date here this is like an Excel spreadsheet. January 1st, 2020 through January 15th, 2022. So this is lagged by like 4 days. This data is 4 days old, it looks like. But we've had a total of 848,000 deaths from COVID-19, from or with. This is actually the with number. And of the with, we don't know what percentage of this is actually from. But this is with COVID, people that died with COVID on their death certificate. And the data is right here. Under 1 year old, 184 kids have died with COVID. I'm not going to say from because, again, we don't know, but it's with COVID. Under 1 year. Okay. And then from 1 to 4, 82 kids. 5 to 14, 225 kids. And like, I want to be really clear, like any death, especially a young age, is heartbreaking and it's awful. And I feel horrible for anyone that has passed from this virus. I really do. That's why if you guys are watching the stream, we're all blessed to be here. And we need to do what we can to minimize our risks from COVID. And if you've spoken with your doctor and your doctor said to get the vaccine, that's up to you, between you and your doctor. I personally, I'm not taking the vaccine. I'm going to prepare my body in other ways. Again, we've gone over this so many times, but I exercise, keep my body weight down, drink a lot of water, sleep, supplements, take the right vitamins that I think I need to be taking. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we can all see the data here. It's very clear who COVID affects the most, who is most at risk. And, more kids get shot a year in Chicago in a year in Chicago than die from COVID. It's just a fact. So to me, it's strange when our government arrests 5-year-old boys, or not arrests, kicks them out of restaurants, a 5-year-old boy, for a virus that has the data is right here on the screen behind me. You guys could check it out yourself. This is all very easily to be fact checked. You guys could sign on and see it for yourself. I mean, we should all be thankful that this virus is an exponential virus, meaning if you're young, the death rate is much different than as you get older. I mean, we should be thankful. Patterson right here says that cancer is more deadly. And he's probably right. I mean, I haven't had a chance to look up the stats. Let me look it up real quick. Cancer deaths by age per year. This might be a tough chart to pull up. Yeah, they don't break it out by age on this chart, so I'm not even going to pull this data in. Oh, here we go. Let's pull this website in. So this is ourworldinData.org. And you guys know that cancer is like a big touching subject. It's a very close subject to my heart because my mom died of cancer and my dad is a survivor. So this is something that I think about often. So this is cancer death by age. Let's see. Here we go. Cancer death rates. Oh, this is per capita. This is per 100,000. But this is 4.23, under 5, 6.71. You know what's interesting to me though? It's like same as the COVID chart. Children under 1 versus children 1 to 5. It's like for some reason the children under 1, there's more deaths from COVID than the children 1 to 5. I wonder why that is. Maybe because, super young babies don't have full immune systems yet. I don't know. But then when they're 1 to 5, their immune system might be a little bit stronger. I don't know. That's interesting though. But I'd have to look it up, a different way. While we're talking about New York City fallen, hey, ladies. Ladies, shh, 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 shh. Come here. Here, I'm gonna let the dogs out, guys. Hold on. Come here, girl. Go get your friends. Go. Okay, we let the dog. Who let the dogs out? I let the dogs out. Okay, now they're going crazy. Hold on, guys. Okay. Cloud, come here. Where is she? Cloud, what is this? Cloud, you want this? You want this? You loud dog. Come here. It's enough. All right. Come here. Come here, girl. Come here. Calm down. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Cloud is going nuts. Shh. Hey. Be nice. Okay, so, hey, Raindrop. I wanted to pull in this article right here because while New York is arresting unvaccinated individuals, let me show you some shit that's going down in New York City. This is where they should be focusing their time. New York City subway station death of Michelle Go leaves Asian Americans reeling. So I don't know if you guys saw this story. But this story actually freaked me out for a minute because, as you guys know, I'm a native New Yorker. Cloud, enough. It's enough. I'm a native New Yorker, and I've ridden the subway all my life. And oftentimes I do stand next to the edge of the platform because Raindrop and my previous Shih Tzu, his name was Flex, they liked to look at the rats scurry along the tracks on the train. So I would always stand by the edge of the platform so that my dogs could look down on the train tracks and see the rats. And I called the rats their friends. So we'd go to the train tracks and I'd say, "Do you see any friends today?" And the dogs would look for the rats. And when they were lucky, they would find rats. So I've always been close to the train track, to the subway platform growing up. And I never really thought too much about being pushed onto the tracks, but it was always a risk, especially because I was always on literally on the platform, right up next to where the train comes in. So when I see stories like this, people getting pushed and then fatally injured, it's just wrong place, wrong time. It's shitty as hell. Another reason why I kind of freaked out about this is because when I was younger, I dated a girl named Michelle Go. And so when I read the news and her name was released, Michelle Go, I kind of panicked a little bit because I thought maybe this was the girl that I had dated a little bit. it wasn't her, but the point is that this is a woman that had family, had friends, had men that she dated or women that she dated. I don't know much about her life. But the point is, even though this wasn't the Michelle Go that I thought, this was a Michelle Go for someone else. So someone else that day, saw her name in the news, clicked the link, and it was probably the one that they were thinking of. And it's kind of crazy to think about that, right? I saw the name in the news, and I just was like, wow, was this the girl that I dated? And it wasn't. But here she is. This is the woman, Michelle Go. The death of Michelle Go, who was fatally shoved in front of a New York subway car on Saturday, has left the Asian American community feeling a sense of tragic loss. Go was attacked by a homeless man, Simon Marshall. She'd been waiting for a train when she was pushed from behind. Though the incident is not being investigated as a hate crime, the community is reeling, mourning, and on edge against the backdrop of increased hate crimes and attacks, Asian American advocacy organizations say. Whether or not it was a hate crime, the reality is Asian Americans, especially women, every time we see an incident like this, our anxiety goes up. Regardless of what the correlation is, we see ourselves in these pictures. And, I look at this picture of her, and she seems like a nice woman based on everything I've read about her. She was working for Deloitte. She had been an avid volunteer at the New York Junior League, a women's organization. She just celebrated her 40th birthday. And yeah, so my issue is, New York City is focused on unvaccinated individuals, and they're not focused on criminals and thugs. And they're not protecting our law-abiding citizens. Bottom line is, our societies we need to protect the good people. We need to protect people like this, like Michelle Go. We need to make sure that people like Michelle Go never get attacked and hurt senselessly. But instead, our NYPD are focused on unvaccinated individuals visiting Applebee's, visiting museums. And they're not only sending like 1 or 2 officers, they're sending 10, 15 officers for these mandates that aren't even constitutional. Like, it's just shocking to me to see New York City fall this much. And if you're watching this and you're from New York, or you have friends in New York, or you have family in New York, I would highly encourage them to leave. Like, the risks of being in New York are just getting too high. Many people are vaccinated against their will, essentially being forced. The crime rates are at all-time high. Democrats love bailing out criminals and putting them back on the streets. And the weather there sucks. Unless you like the winter or the cold, there's really no point to be in New York. Like, you could just come down to Florida, So I don't remember New York being like this. I mean, I heard when I was younger, like in the 80s, that Times Square was crazy, that there was like prostitution everywhere. They had these like peep shows and strip clubs. And then Giuliani came in and he cleaned up all of Times Square, and he made it a tourist place, a family place. You go to Times Square today, it's like McDonald's, Dave & Buster's, Broadway, Starbucks. You got all the family and the bougie type places. Well, McDonald's is not bougie, but you guys know what I'm saying. You got like the mainstream places. And now it's a tourist trap, and it's all families. And, you have corporate workers who are walking there during their lunch break, whatever, like MTV, the office is right there. But I don't recognize this New York anymore. I thought this guy, Eric Adams, this new mayor, I thought he's going to be tough on crime. Don't know what's happening. It's really, it's shocking. And I think the most shocking part to me is that most of these Democrats who live there, these Democrat voters, they're going to keep voting for Democrats. It's like, how much abuse do you need to withstand? Do you need to take before you maybe wake up, get more active in your politics, volunteer, run for a school board? It's unbelievable. All right, let's go to some comments. Jim Jodison, I hope you're still here. Yep, they actually admitted that. that they were doing things like if you died from a car accident, but you had COVID at the time of death, then you died. You were listed as a COVID death. That's just so absurd to me. Emily says, husband and I just had COVID. His boss had a mandate. My husband said no, he wasn't comfortable with the jab. He wasn't fired because he's too valuable to the company, but he's on salary. And they docked his pay because he had COVID. He had sick pay and vacation. Wow. That's crazy. I do have a lot of respect for your husband, though. The fact that, he was good at his job to the point that they didn't fire him. I mean, that's good for him. And I also respect the fact that he stood his ground and didn't do something that made him uncomfortable. We tell kids all the time, like when they're growing up, if someone touches you somewhere and you're not comfortable, let them know or say no or back away. And then yet we're living in this society now where so many people are just, they're not comfortable with this. And yet they have to do it because they have to feed their family. That's that's fucked up. And this is Joe Biden's America. I always tell people, like, say what you want about Trump, but did you ever feel like your freedoms are being limited under Trump? You can't point this to, in my opinion, you cannot point to one single group, mainstream or marginalized, and say that Trump scaled back your freedoms. He didn't. He protected our freedoms. And Joe Biden is not doing that. Joe Biden is hurting this country. I said it that way for a fact, but he's hurting us. My dog doesn't like that. She keeps like doing her head tilt. Jim Jodison said his 86-year-old aunt got it in a nursing home, and she's not in the best of health, and she got over it. Even if you're in a super, whoops. All right, sorry about that, guys. I think my camera's overheating. But even if you're like in a high vulnerable group, like 86 plus, according to the data, according to the CDC, you still have like a 95% chance of not dying. That's just the bottom line. And obviously, any percent chance of dying from a virus is horrible. But I'm sorry, if you told me there was a casino with a 95% chance of winning, I'd be there every night gambling, and I would become very rich. So that's just playing those odds is what it is. All right. I don't know much about the Reagan era, to be honest, because I've just got into politics in 2019. So I don't really know about the housing for the insane, the Reagan initiative you're talking about. So I'd have to look into that. Obviously, homelessness is a problem. And I'll tell you this, when it comes to New York, there's always been homeless in New York, always. And we have a lot of subway vents in New York. So as you're walking down the city, you look down, you'll see a lot of like grating, and under there is a subway. And a lot of times you'll get heat from underground. And so a lot of homeless people will sleep on those grates. I always thought that was smart. Like it's like a heater. But we've always had a homeless problem in New York. And that's just simply because all right, I'm switching this to the webcam, guys. I know it looks a lot shittier. This is the difference. Sony's EV1 versus Mac. It's crazy different, right? Maybe the light will help. I don't know, whatever. So my point is, New York City always had a homeless problem because, first of all, rent is super expensive. When I lived in New York, I was paying $3,600 a month rent. That's crazy. So not only is rent expensive, but it's always hard to find an apartment there. And you just have so many people on top of each other that it's bound to be homeless people just based on density alone. But I'll tell you this, guys, I went back to New York in 2019, and I could not believe how much homeless there was. I went back in 2020, could not believe that I went back in 2021, and it was just everywhere. Yeah, New York's got a homeless problem, and it's gotten way worse in the past couple years. And this is something I never knew. I can't believe I didn't know this. I'm going to try to go back to one of the camera guys. Hold on. Let's see if this is going to work. Let's see if this will work. Okay, we're back on the Sony. You know, I did not know this, but when I was growing up, not growing up, Jesus. I did not know this growing up. When I was younger, I had no idea. But apparently there's like rampant prostitution in like Penn Station or something. Port Authority? I think Penn Station. Yeah, whatever's below MSG, Penn Station. I had no idea that there were people walking around late at night. Mostly, I think from my understanding, mostly women, you know, drugged out and methed out, all that stuff, like offering sexual services in Penn Station at like 3, 4, 5 a.m. I had no idea that was like a spot people would go. I mean, that just doesn't sound safe to me or healthy. But this is a problem in New York. Yeah, that camera's shot. It's not going to stay on. GoFist says the violent crime wave started in 2019. New York City crime stats are down from 2019. Well, that's because people are staying home. That's the only reason why. There's less people on the street. That's first of all. People are home because of the pandemic. But third, people have even probably more iPhones and cell phones. And they actually did a study on this, and they said that the presence of cell phones has actually reduced violent crimes because everybody can be a surveillance camera at any moment now. So I think there's a lot of factors, but to compare now to 2019 it's kind of unfair because just movement has changed a lot. Population has changed a lot. So I'd rather compare within the pandemic 2021 to 2020, for example, and look at those stats and see what's happening there. He says traditionally the insane were housed in massive compounds. It was a budget cutting move. Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of comic books, and like I see in like the Batman movies, for example, there's always Arkham Asylum, and it's basically a huge compound with all the crazy people the insane in the comic book. So I mean, that's probably based on reality of what you're talking about. There's got to be probably better ways for us to treat people, like in terms of if they have mental health issues. There's got to be better ways that we can we can take care of that. But all I know is, and that's the point of this video, New York City has fallen, and if you live there, I think you should probably consider getting out of there. You'll save money on rent. You'll live in a warmer climate. You can come on down to Florida only if you're going to vote red, and you'll be able to save on income taxes down here, which is lovely. You pay less to the government when you live in Florida. It's kind of nice. I think Florida and Texas both, because they're based. But New York City's fallen. It's sad. I don't recognize it. I'm so happy I left 6 years ago. That city's not for me. I'm over it. But I miss it. I miss the old New York, man. I miss the nightlife. I miss going out. The dating nightlife out there was so much fun. But I don't belong there anymore. Can you imagine me walking around with my Trump flags and my Trump hat in New York City? I should do it. I should be there to try to change people's perception. But ultimately, I don't do well in the cold weather. And women there are now closed-minded. Like they literally have in their bios, swipe left if you support Trump. No Trumpers here. No Trump supporters here. It's like, who exactly do you want to date then? Like, as a woman, if you're a woman and you consider yourself to be a feminine woman, and you're telling the huge percentage of the population, especially the masculine men, which tend to be Trump supporters, well, we don't want you, then what do you date? Are you going to just date soy boys? Because most men, most real alpha men, that might be toxic masculinity speaking, I don't really care, but most alpha men are going to vote for Trump. Most alpha men are going to be Republicans. It's the soy boys and the feminine men that are going to be Biden voters or Democrats, because women and feminine men tend to vote for Biden. It is what it is. I'm not even using that to be condescending. It's actually, I'll fact check myself right now. Okay, check this out. It's called hegemonic masculinity. Real thing, guys. I don't make this shit up. I don't make this shit up. This is some real stuff right here. Check it out. Hegemonic masculinity in politics and the exercise of a patriarchal leadership. Examples of Donald Trump and Emmanuel Macron. Macron. I can't say it. But essentially, hegemonic masculinity is basically means that we see the type of masculinity that we aspire to be in other men. So a lot of men look at Trump and see masculinity, right? He's wealthy. He's got a supermodel wife. He's always dated supermodels. He's got his name across buildings. He don't take shit from nobody. He's a straight shooter. He's a 6'3" guy. He towers over most people. And he's very confident and cocky and arrogant. And those are traits that are typically associated with masculinity. And so a lot of men see Trump, they look up to those traits. They aspire to have those traits. So oftentimes they'll vote for Trump. Most Democrats tend to be women. If you actually look at, let's see, 2020 election by gender. I saw this meme that if you did the US, if only women voted in the 2020 election, every state would have been blue. It would have been 50, it would have been 100% Joe Biden, because women tend to vote for Democrats. That's just the way it is. And I do think that there's a correlation to the Democrats constantly pushing social justice issues and high morality. And we're the party of morality. And we're the party of Black Lives Matter and LGBT and, immigrants and all that stuff. And these are very emotional pleas. They tug at the heartstrings. So I do think that's the way it works. In terms of, there's T. Hilly says most educated people tend to be Democrat as well. I'll try to look that up right now in real time. But if we can all agree that our education system is more of an indoctrination vehicle, then you could say that the most indoctrinated people tend to be Democrat as well, because most of our education is indoctrination, whether you're in elementary public school, and even, and I think right now it's being exposed even in the medical level. I think a lot of medical doctors, from what I've read online and what I've seen, they're not, a lot of them, not all, are not critically applying some of the things that they've learned. They literally do as they're told a lot of the times, because they have bosses too. They have lobbyists too. They have big pharma companies that are funding, sponsoring. They want grants. They have agendas too at the top level, and then it kind of gets passed down. It's really not the fault of anybody, but at the same time, it's the fault of everybody. So T. Hilly, I will agree that maybe the most indoctrinated people tend to be Democrat. Let's see, education level by political party. Here we go. This is June of 2020, so it's kind of relevant. Let's see. Where is education? Okay, here we go. Wide gender gap and lean partisanship, especially among college graduates. Percentage of registered voters who identify as Democrats or lean towards the Democratic Party. So total 50%, 56% of women voters are Democrat, lean Democrat. This is what I said earlier. Only 42% of men are Democrat or lean Democrat. Those are the soy boys. College graduates, 65% of women college graduates are Democrat, lean Democrat, and less than half of men are Democrat, lean Democrat. And as far as non-college graduates, yeah. So you are right in that, in terms of college graduates, the leaning Democrat, that's true. And that's because most universities in this country are liberal. We know this. This is a fact. They are indoctrination machines, and they just basically spit out same think. I'm not going to call it wrong think because I don't think that you could necessarily be wrong, but it's the same think. It's kind of like mob mentality in a way, but we could see it right here. I wonder if they have it for men. Let's see what's next page. Next page. Persistent gender gap and partisanship. This is a crazy. This is an interesting. All these graphs. It's a lot of data to look into. Republican, lean Republican. Yeah, this is the craziest one to me. Like the fact that Black support is so low for Republicans when meanwhile most values of the Black community align with Republicans. It's so interesting. But this changed in the 2020 election. Trump doubled Black support, and it looks like it's going to increase even more in 2024. Same for Hispanics. It looks like half of Hispanics now are identifying as Republicans. So according to this, there's been like a 20% increase in Hispanic support of Trump. So the good news is Hispanics are have woken up, and a lot of that is being led by the Cubans, the Venezuelans, and even the Mexicans along the southern border. They also see the problem when it comes to illegal immigration. So it's really exciting to watch all this kind of like evolve in real time. And right now, I think they have Trump up 6 points for the 2024 election, which is huge. So let's see what else we got. So it's interesting stuff, guys. I'm gonna let's hop off. All right, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, live stream about New York. New York City has fallen. We're watching this happen in real time. And I'm seeing some comments come in about Trump being accused of something. I can't say that word on YouTube. Might get striked. Probably will get demonetized, even though, they always demonetize me now. What I'll say to that is I believe in innocent until proven guilty. I believe we live in an American justice system where you're supposed to have a trial by your peers, a speedy trial. So as far as that, I don't think that he has any, because if you have actually done what he's saying, you should be in jail right now. And he has not ever been arrested for this. He's never been found guilty of this. And you could make up your own excuses that you want. You could say, "Oh, he's rich and he's got money and he paid people off and all that, and he's settled." But you got to understand something, like these rich men are always going to be the target of people's, like they're just going to be the target. And so when you're a rich and powerful man and, you decide to do something with a woman and, perhaps it's consensual, it always should be consensual. And, in some cases it is. But sometimes, and it's happened before, don't act like it hasn't happened, but, claims could be made and things could be said that might not be the truth. And, that's why it's a very tricky thing to just blindly say, believe all women. I know that would be in an ideal world. In an ideal world, everyone would be honest. Nobody would have an agenda. No one would be motivated to lie. But when you're talking about rich and powerful men and people know that they can make claims and maybe get a couple $1 million as a settlement or hush money, even though they did nothing wrong, you don't know. I don't know. All I know is he hasn't been found guilty of anything. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And that's that. I mean, with this guy we have in office right now, there is a police report from Tara Reid. That's her name, right? I think so. Let's see. Tara Reid. Yeah, Tara Reid. Okay. I always get confused with the actress. I'm not saying I necessarily believe her because I was not present in any of these accusations, but all I'm saying is that they exist for them as well. But again, I can't call them that until it goes to trial and there's evidence and the jury determines. They're accusations. That happens to people that are powerful all the time. Kobe Bryant, for example, rest in peace. None of us were there that day. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. We've all heard rumors about what happened that day. We don't know. So when you bring up these things that are accusations or I heard or anonymous sources, it means absolutely nothing. So your comment there means absolutely nothing, to be honest. Again, you just because it's 32 people, you don't know the details. You don't know if there was collusion. You don't know if they all saw an opportunity. We don't know. So all I'm saying is, if he's guilty, present the evidence, get justice. If you can't do that and it hasn't been done, then he's innocent. And if you don't like the way that works, then you should not, be proud of your American citizenship. You should, maybe go somewhere else where you can throw accusations and that means guilt. But here in America, we don't do that. Innocent until proven guilty. Go. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. That's great that you have it. I haven't either. And that's great. But I do think that if I suddenly stumbled upon $1 billion and I was open about it, I would attract more women, most likely. I would probably be dating more women, most likely. And ultimately, because of the volume of women that I'd be meeting, it exposes me to more risk. That's the bottom line. You'd be exposed to more risk. Instead, you're a guy who probably doesn't even have a YouTube channel. You probably don't even have any content. You're just an anonymous, faceless person bad-mouthing Trump, who's more of a man than we'll ever be, who's accomplished more than we'll ever accomplish on this planet. And so you're right. You've never been, because you're not a target. I'm not a target right now. We're not targets. We're nobodies. So that's great. That's such a low bar to set, but that's great that you haven't done that. Me neither. Congratulations. Like yeah, it's what liberals do. They just throw these insults out and they don't even think about the repercussions of it. It's unbelievable. My new co-host, temporary co-host, I don't know if he's watching, Grayson Arnold from Pure Politics. Go subscribe to his channel. That guy gets slandered all over the media. And he shared one meme, which I saw the meme, and as a Jew, I saw the meme and I understood it right away. I understood what the meme was trying to express. I was not offended by it. I saw the meme and I was like, oh, I get it. I get it. I see what you did there. And ever since he shared that meme, they've been calling him a Nazi sympathizer and what did he say? A Nazi apologist. He's a white supremacist. It's like, yo, you don't know anything about this dude. Like, you don't know anything about him, but yet you just make these claims, these slanderous claims that can literally hurt somebody. And even worse, it could drive someone to suicide. Like, these people don't even think about it. They don't give a shit. Liberals are literally like, if you don't agree with me, I will destroy your life. This is literally where their mind goes. If you support Trump, we're going to tell your job and then you'll get fired. Like, that's so sick to see a man or woman working, supporting a family, paying their rent, have a belief that you disagree with, and your response is cancel them, expose them, call them a racist. It's so dumb. Like, it's beyond dumb. It's evil. I've never once in my entire life insulted somebody for voting for Joe Biden, try to get them canceled for voting for Joe Biden, tried to fire them for voting for Joe Biden, reported their account for misinformation because they voted for Joe Biden. We don't do that on the right side. It's, you have your opinion. You voted for Biden. Good for you. Now you got to live with it, just as I have to live with it. We all have to live with your horrible decision. But I'm not going to throw ad hominem attacks at you. I'm not going to try to get you canceled or fired in your job. It's like, that's so anti-American. T. Hilly, I'm not going to be tricked into pulling up the meme that Grayson Arnold shared. You could probably find it online if you want to type it in. It was really making the point of the meme was it was really making fun of the direction American men are headed. That was the point of the meme. The direction our men are going towards, and a lot of it has to do with culture, the feminization of men, calling masculinity toxic. Our testosterone levels are at all-time lows right now in society. Our testosterone levels are so low. You know, I go to the gym, I have a pretty good body, and I have to read articles that because I have a good body and I'm going to the gym, I'm now toxic. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I am a single dude, and I want to, number one, be healthy, but number two, I want to be attractive to the opposite sex. I want to be attractive to women, and by having a decent body, that helps. It's not toxic. Toxic is insane. Toxic is absolutely insane. Thank you, Patterson. You're absolutely right. And we need strong men. We need the return of strong men. We need men that put America first. You know, right now America is separated into two categories. You have the globalists and you have the Americans, the American first. T. Hilly, Goifus are obviously on the side of the globalists. Trump is on the side of America first, and that's why he had to go. That's why they had to remove him, because the globalists have an agenda right now. They want to treat us all like peasants. They want to bankrupt the middle class, the lower class, more than we already are. And Trump was the only person that was putting a stop to that. So he had to go. He wasn't playing along with their agenda. They have a goal by 2030 that none of us are going to own property, that we're all going to be renters, and everything's going to be controlled. You know? Yeah, we do live in a globalized world. We don't live in, it's different than globalization. Like, we live in an interconnected world. But ultimately, each country has to protect its citizens first. How did Trump help the poor? Man, this guy doesn't know shit. Under Trump, we had the lowest unemployment rate in the history for every major marginalized group. Okay, so that's the first thing. Secondly, Trump returned businesses back to incentivize them to have jobs back here in America. He got millions of Americans off of food stamps. He got millions of Americans off of welfare. Do you know how good that is? Like, they didn't need welfare anymore because they were making enough money under Trump. Everyone's wages went up. Everyone in the middle class got like a $2,000 tax break under Trump per year. It was a beautiful thing. So Trump did a lot for poor Americans. Trump did a lot for the average American. Trump did a lot for all Americans. So that's the bottom line. Look at this. Look at this guy. Look at this fool. He goes, it was solo economists warned it was hurting small businesses. Are you unaware? Like, have you been living under a rock and not seen what the Democrats have done to small businesses? Have you not, were you like not aware that they literally closed all the small businesses down but said McDonald's can stay open, Walmart can stay open? I mean, are you serious? Yeah, you must be sleeping. You must be sleeping if you're going to talk about who hurt small businesses. Come on. Trump, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Trump is a symbol of freedom and hope, not just for America, but for the whole world. And if you don't know that at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. Anyway, guys, I've had enough engagement with these globalists today, and appreciate you guys watching my stream. That's what Biden said today on his horrible speech today. His horrible speech today. Awful speech. That's right, Christopher. Can you type it again for the people in the back who just don't get it? Hopefully they get it soon. I think they'll wake up at 2024. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. But as I always say, you guys better appreciate that I'm not censoring you or shadow banning you or suppressing your information. You're allowed to share whatever you want in my feed. I don't care. The only time that I will consider blocking your comment is if you start doing ad hominem attacks. And the only reason why is because you have an unfair advantage against me. You see what I look like. You see my videos. I know nothing about 99% of you guys in terms of what you look like. So if you're going to come in here and start insulting me, that's not an even playing field. I can't even insult you back. What am I going to do? Insult your username? Come on. Come on. So let's go. Oh, did Bitcoin do anything today? Bitcoin's been in the freaking dumpster. Yeah, still in the dumpster. Bitcoin's at 42K. Not good. Hey, Angel, you don't want to know what's crazy about that? Donald Trump had 2,800 kids in cages at the peak. 2,800 kids. Yes, T. Hilly. Trump had 2,800 kids in cages. Do you know how many kids in cages Biden had this year? Wait for it. So Joe Biden this year had 25,000 kids in cages. Did you hear that? Joe Biden had almost 10 times the amount of kids in cages as Donald Trump did. 10 times. That's crazy. I'm going to pull up my fact check for you guys because I'm not sure if you believe me. Not that I really care if you believe me or not at this point. But here you go, guys. Biden administration holding nearly 25,000 migrant children without parents. Look at that. Yeah, you see that? I'm going to leave it up for a little bit. Biden, 25,000 kids in cages. Trump, 2,800 at the peak. And do you remember how much they demonized Trump for that? That's what the Democrats do. They demonize Trump for things they do far worse. Far worse. They say Trump was colluding with Russia. That was proven false. Biden, however, is colluding with Ukraine, and we have it on video. We have it on video. That's the difference. That's the difference. That is the difference between us and them. We got it on video. Where is this video? Yeah, it's hard to find. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is it.
Why is the U.S. Senate investigating Joe Biden's family?
Let's see if this is
Weeks
it.
after Joe Biden.
All I will say, this is a very biased ad. This one is very biased, but it is going to prove the point though. But it is biased. I'm not going to lie.
Why is the U.S. Senate investigating Joe Biden's family? Weeks after Joe Biden visits China as vice president, his son secures a private billion-dollar deal with the Bank of China. After Biden is named America's top diplomat to Ukraine, his son lands another $1 million deal in Ukraine. Then Biden gets Ukraine's top prosecutor fired before he can investigate.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a... got fired.
Instead,
Yeah, that was it right there. That's the quid pro quo. He said, you know, if you don't fire the prosecutor that's investigating my son's company, you're not going to get the money. So they fired the guy that investigated the company, and they got the money. That is a quid pro quo. So I'm excited for the Republicans to get the red wave this year, come in and take names. This is the fake news channel, right? This is the fake news channel. You know what's interesting about that? I'll tell you what's interesting about that. You go to CNN and they call themselves the most trusted name in news. And how many things have they lied about? How many things have they lied about? Unbiased, my ass. At least you come here and I have a hat on that says exactly where I stand. That's the difference. When it comes to my channel, you know the bias. When you go to CNN, they're supposed to be unbiased and they're not. That's the difference. So that's how I know I'm not the fake news. I am the biased news. Okay? CNN is the fake news. I'm the biased news. So there's a big difference. And if you want the left-wing biased news, you go to Young Turks, for example. But you can't put me in the fake news because I'm literally sourcing everything I say. I mean, you missed earlier in the stream where I pulled up cdc.gov data to prove my points. Everything I'm talking about, I have the evidence. So they're the fake news. I'm the biased news. Get it straight. All right, guys. On that note, I got to go hit the gym. I got to go get this body nice and tight. You guys know how it is. We're going to play my long outro for you guys today. This is going to be a 90-second outro. So as always, guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys being here. We have a lot of content coming out in the next couple of days. I have 2 videos going live tomorrow. They are short, so come back tomorrow. You'll see 2 videos, nice and short. And then this weekend is going to be the March to Life. Tara and Grayson are going to be going to DC. I'm not going because it's 17 degrees there, and I don't do cold weather anymore. So I'm going to be going to the March for Life here in St. Petersburg. So if you are actually in St. Petersburg, let me know, and we can meet up there. Patterson, I think that you are on that side of the state. So Patterson, if you want to meet up for the March for Life, we'd love to see you there. We can, we can stand up for unborn babies and speak against abortion, which is really, in my opinion, abortion is murder. So if you disagree with me, that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. Don't really care. All I know is I'm going to keep fighting for what I believe in. And on that note, guys, I'm going to pull up the outro. So it was great seeing you guys today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Let's go, Brandon. Be free, my sheeple.